Okay, I guess we'll call this Ger Toshav 3. All right, remember where we left off? Can you give me just a quick rundown? Or just what? Just it's not a quiz. Just whatever you remember, whatever pops in your head. Just so I know where you're at. Just whatever you feel like saying. It's no pressure. It's just.
So the Brisker Rav was talking about the different inyanim that apply to the name Noah versus the Ger Toshav. At least later on.
Yeah.
In our shir.
Yeah.
We spoke about different things, such as how if the name Noah kills B'shogeg, he's killed.
Right.
If the Toshav kills B'shogeg, he gets galus, like a Jew who accepts upon himself normal mitzvot. We went into the topic of in the Rambam how it states that a Ger Toshav, you do not accept a Ger Toshav. Yeah. No, but not specifically that. But it was also if he accepts all mitzvot, but he doesn't want to accept one.
The Ger Tzedek non-Jew.
Yeah, you don't accept it. So he said, no, that it's not that he's like a convert and you right? Because obviously the converts you can't say you don't accept one, but
right.
It's just a Ger Toshav that it says he does Kabbalah of certain mitzvot, and he doesn't do Kabbalah of others.
So what I hear you saying is, Ger is not Pashut, right? You see Ger in the Chumash. There's no such thing as a Ger Toshav or a Ger Tzedek according to the Chumash, right? It only says Ger. Ger B'Sharecha, Ger V'Toshav, but that's not a Ger Toshav or a Ger Tzedek, right? So when you get into the Chumash, the first question is, what is Ger? Now, how many times do you think the Chumash mentions Ger? Just take a wild stab. Just no din. Just if you're going to guess, you have 52 parshiot, right? So every week, to what extent? How many times do you think? Every parsha? Every parsha. If you look carefully within every parsha, you can find something Ger. It's always there. Now, in the Meforshim or whatever, but for example, this is off the top of my head. This is not directly Ger, but Parshas Vayetze. I'm sure you've read Parshas Vayetze. Have you got into the Balaturim? So Yaakov fled from Esav, right? And what does the Balaturim say where he fled from? Beis Midrash Shel Shem and Aver. I mean, there's always this non-Jewish component or element in every parsha, right? Don't taunt the Ger, love the Ger. You were strangers and you were Gerim in Egypt. Every parsha, you will find something along these lines.
In this parsha,
it
talks about how you're just someone who's just residing in his life.
After class, check it out. If you want, we'll check it out after class. I wrote a commentary on the Chumash about this. I went through every single parsha looking for this, and it's there every time. And not like random stuff, like classic. Mikros Gedolos is the basis of this. You know what I'm saying? It's standard stuff. In the Tanakh, it's mentioned 100 times, nearly 100 times. In the Chumash, like 68, I think, like 60 sometimes. So it's there. It's very common. So then it becomes the question, which Ger? What does it mean, right? Just to target a couple, right? So you have the 10 Commandments, the Sefer Divros, 20:10. You rest your donkey, your ox, your cousin's girlfriend's boyfriend, whatever, right? And then Gercha Asher B'Sharecha. Remember this? It's going to warm up your brain a little bit. So rest your Ger. What's the Chiddush? Again, I'm just maybe some background. What's the Chiddush? Your Ger, you rest, and not your Nachri. You don't have a responsibility to rest your Nachri friend. Right? So John, the Yeshu lover, you don't have any Inyan whatsoever to have him rest. So he can be a Shabbos Goy Mamish, and he can do Malacha for you. But the Rabbanim are going to say, we don't use Shabbos Goy like that, right? You got to limit it. So Shabbos Goy, this is why they say Shabbos, like Amir La'akim Shvus Hu. It's Shvus. You know Shvus? Rabbinic and Gezerah. Why? Because you're going to have your non-Jewish friends doing all your malachas for you. Technically, the Torah made a loophole that it's mutter. The Rabbana made it aser. The ger, because it's gezeres hakasuv, it's written explicitly in the Torah, you are commanded to rest your ger. Then it becomes a question of which ger. So in Yevamos 48b, it'll tell you which ger it is in the Ten Commandments. Again, just to do chazara, ger tzedek. Everybody's going to say what? They're going to say it's a convert. Converts are generally called ger tzedek, right? So you're going to say 10 ger tzedek, convert. Did you stop to think about it? Do you really need to be told to rest your convert? He's a Jew. So then it begs the question, which ger tzedek is this? But I mean, 99% of most people are already like not shaykh to the sugya. They're holding at ger tzedek is a convert, end of story. Right? But Eved Kanani is called a ger tzedek. So another proof along these lines, when you get in Parshas Rei, about giving the nevela, right? It says the ger asher b'sharecha, the ger in your gate. What's the first inclination people make? Convert. Ger equals convert. Then what's the kasha? Can a ger convert eat nevela? Trace meat? No way. So by definition, it's got to be a different kind of ger. Okay, so the point is that from what you said going into this, we already see there. Whatever you want to say about ger, it's not pashut, right? It's again there's difference in din in between ger toshav and ben noach. All the things that you said, it's already not pashut. We started a little bit. If you want to come, I'm filling in. Yeah. He's back. Where do I want to go with this? So I want. There's more flyers up there if you want.
Oh yeah, I have. It's 1 page, right?
Yeah. So I want to focus where we left off last time explicitly. Again, I give this shir during the weeks, and I'm really focused on the text. So I want to give more of a svara here. Okay? Yeah. And since I'm just filling in, we might as well use the time wisely. So the whole issue with ger toshav, and this will be if you go to Antarctica and meet the people of Antarctica and discuss this. Wherever you go on the planet, and you discuss ger toshav, it's this. I mean, it's from experience speaking. It's a universalism at this point. If you mention the words ger toshav, you're gonna hear Rambam, Yovel. There's no ger toshav today. If they're a little bit more advanced, they'll tell you the Rambam's quoting Erechin 29a, right? And it's a dogma. It's become a bad dogma. And again, from what you've already pointed out, it's already not true. We've already seen enough things that's just not true. Right? You point out the nafkaminas between ger toshav and bnei noach. And there's a fundamental difference. If a ben noach kills b'shogeg, he's killed. If a ger toshav kills b'shogeg, he gets galus. Different dinim. Right? Now, the advanced student will say that ger toshav in Makkos 9a by this shogeg accident, that is not the Yovel ger toshav. So, just like a side point, like already we know it's Lamaisa today in some level, right? That's always the question, as I was telling these guys, is that it's always Lamaisa, but it's your job to figure out, based on the source work, is it Lamaisa or not? So, how many of us have ever heard of Shabbos Goy? Everyone's heard of Shabbos Goy. And the question becomes, is the Shabbos Goy shaykh to ger toshav? The Mishnah Berurah says it is. And if I don't think about it, it can go two ways. The Mishnah Berurah was talking Yovel, therefore every Goy is a Shabbos Goy. Or if we understand the Sugi and the Mishnah Berurah, we'd say, those that are excluded from Shabbos Goy are those that keep the 7 mitzvahs. So there's two kinds of people in this world. People that want it to be Yovel and people that don't. I struggle with this, with the Mishnah Berurah, just because we've been focusing on it for the last couple weeks. And it's been a burning topic in my world. And I'll tell you what the struggle is. And I mean the capital THE struggle. When you read the Rambam, what have I been harping on? How do you know that the Rambam says there's a ger toshav today? Because he's writing that there's a ger toshav today. You'll say, but I don't see it written clearly at all. And I say, I see it clearly. Why don't you see it clearly? Why do I see it clearly? Because the Rambam copied and pasted it from the source work. For example, Avodah Zarah 64b. So the Rambam didn't write anything like that. He copied and pasted it word for word, and I know the source work. People don't realize the Rambam is doing that. Okay, so that's the Rambam, we can say, right? Then let's bring, I don't know who else should we bring. Meir Kahana's got a good piece on Ger Toshav. I'm not a Kahanist per se, but he's got a really great piece on it, right? Because the non-Jews in the land of Israel. And the Kahanists are saying, no, not till Yovel, not till Yovel. Now, we know they have a bit of an agenda, right, with the non-Jew in the land of Israel. Okay, let's give them that. But how do I have the chutzpah to say, no, you don't understand your Rebbe well enough? Meir Kahan got Ger Toshav. How do I know that? He copied and pasted the same source work, right? He's quoting the Ritva, Makas Dainei. Anybody that ever lived and did anything with Ger Toshav quoted you Ritva Makas Dainei. If I'm a liar, then the Brisker Rav is not going to quote it, right? Guess what? He quotes it. I mean, it's like saying that you learned Gemara, but you never heard of Rashi. Really? I question that guy, obviously. I never heard of Tosfos. You learned Tosfos in your yeshiva? Okay, shalom. So then here's the real bench, the litmus test, right? Now I'm not a Lubavitcher. I think you can tell, right? But this was recommended to me. This is Lakuti Sichis Chelik Lamed Aleph Parshas Mishpatim. Again, I am not a Lubavitcher. But I found a Lubavitch work on Ger Toshav, written by Rabbi Avram Gerlitzky in Crown Heights. I called him up on the phone, and I was trying to dance around, telling him what I'm into. You never know is he going to pull the Yovel on me? That's what was my fear, right? And he says, David, I don't know what you're saying. Just tell him the Rebbe said it. I said, well, I'm not a Lubavitcher. I can't exactly. David, tell him the Rebbe said it. So I said, all right, the Rebbe said it. Can you tell me where the Rebbe said it? So he said, this sefer right here. So you open it up, and you get to our sugya. I call it our sugya because it's one sugya, and everyone learns it the same way. Now that sounds like such a yeshiva party line, doesn't it? Oh, everyone agrees on this sugya. But this one they actually do all agree. All the different shittas of Judaism actually agree on this. Now think about it. What does Meir Kahan have in common with the Lubavitcher Rebbe? How about absolutely nothing in relative terms, right? So let's skip a couple pages. He opens it up with the Rambam, which is the source of the halacha for the Shabbos Goy, 304 Or Chaim, right? Just to show you where he's at. He's going to say here, V'hinei harashba, heisig al Rambam, shekaso shemadaber, lekito schiro, sheyisro svar lei, the kol dir toshav, da. My point is, have you heard me talk about this Rashba? Yeah, last week you heard me talk about the Rashba. Where was that Rashba brought? In the Torah, 304 in the Or Chaim, right? Rashba is like one of them. It's just like the Ritva is major in this sugya, so is the Rashba. And here's Lubavitcher Rebbe bringing you the Rashba, bringing you the Magid Mishnah. All your friends are being brought in the words of Lubavitcher Rebbe. What does that tell you? This is not a Kabbalah thing, a mysticism Kabbalah thing. It's not a Hasidic thing. It's not a spiritual thing. It's not a Rebbe thing. It's a sugya thing. Sometimes a sugya is a sugya. If a Jew says he learned Tosfos, you don't need to say Chabad style or Breslov style. Sometimes Tosfos is just Tosfos. So this sugya is special because it just is that. So all right, you hear in the Welt about the Rambam, Ger Toshav, Arachin. And it's going to come down to the way that Brisker Rav writes this. He wrote it really great. Look in the second column, top paragraph, last words are the Rosh Tevis Lefi Zeh. See it? After the period. Right? Lefi Zeh Gam Hach Dina. Dein Ger Toshav Noyeg Ela Bezman Shehayovel Noyeg Hu. Gam kein le'inyan kol adinim shegir toishev chaluk behem mishar b'nayich adas Rambam ikar adin hu de b'shar she'ina yoyvel nayig ein makablan u'memela dehu adin keben noyich ta'alma va'ayin b'magin mishnah b'hilchos esuri bia shekasav gam kein pashu kein b'das Rambam u'am das rai v'lecheres b'zeh de rak linyan dinim ayuchtim hu de talei b'zman she'yoyvel nayig. So here's this far, and I love this far, as it took me a lot of years to get this far right. Okay. We have the Rambam saying in Isuri Bia 14.8, straight up, you can look it up, you have your Rambams or whatever, there's no Ger Toshav till Zman Yovanoyik. And he's going to quote Erechin 29. And what the Brisker Rav is showing you is he's saying there's a machlaikis of how to understand the Rambam. Call it the Ravid and the Magid Mishnah. Is that?
No, sorry, I just did this last couple.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a little behind.
You can catch, you don't need the previous material. You better get it. Just concentrate.
Okay.
Okay? Just.
What does that mean until you
Look up the Rambam.
Okay.
Get a Rambam. You can follow along while I'm teaching. Just look at Suri Bia, Yud Dalid Ches. So again, let's just take some things at face value for the sake of time and space. There is a machlaikis on how to learn the Rambam. There's the Shita of the Magid Mishnah and the Shita of the Ravid. Now, most people are going to tell you the Shita of the Ravid. And they're going to say the Ravid and the Rambam argue on Ger Toshav. Even that's not true. And if you remember from, I think, the first class, we showed why that's not true. Why is it not true? Their machlaikis isn't even over Ger Toshav. It was over, can I maintain an Evid in my home? You see what I'm saying? It wasn't even the machlaikis. So when you look at the Rambam there, halacha test, the very next halacha, which is actually what the Ravid is commenting on, he's saying you can maintain, your question, can we maintain, or an Evid today? No one was talking about your happy Noahide friends. They were talking about bringing an Evid home and stipulating whether or not to circumcise the guy, right? And then he's like a Ger Toshav, because to have him in my home and not do Avodah Zorah, I want him to do the Sheva Mitzvahs. So this machlaikis between the Ravid and Rambam, yeah, it is a machlaikis, and it's not between them. What we're finding out is they had a machlaikis in the Evid sugya, but where the Brisker Rav is showing a different nafkamina. What he's showing is that it's not a machlokas between the Ravid and Rambam here, like it is over there. He's saying the Ravid understands the Shita of the Rambam one way. Remember, the Rambam was never here and present. Only his writing was here and present. We never got a chance to ask him. And then the Magid Mishnah is going to say, I read it differently. You understand what I'm saying? That the Rambam, to say it radically, the Rambam was not here. Everyone makes it like the Rambam doesn't want there to be a Ger Toshav, and no, wrong way of looking at it. They're looking at 14.8 and saying, how do I understand that? And it's not even his. He copied and pasted it from Erechin. So the Brisker Rav shows you this far. Do I say, I get my mind wrapped up on this again, I lost it from yesterday. But do we say that this concept of a chiluk between Ger Toshav and Ben Noyach only exists in Zman Yovel Noyach? Right? That's like the Ikara din, and thus all other dinim are under the umbrella of that. Meaning, without Yovel, there's no distinction Ger Toshav Ben Noach. With Yovel, all your different distinctions come into play. Is that what the Rambam meant? And the Magid Mishnah will say, yeah, we don't do Kabbalah today at all. Kabbalah personal acceptance. We don't make any Kabbalah today. None. Zero. Until Yovel. So then, someone in my position will come and ask, well, what does Makablin mean? Kabbalah, Makablin, same kind of root. What does Makablin mean? We're not Makablin people today. We don't make them take Kabbalah. Right? We're learning Brisk, if I'm not mistaken. So there's Fei Dinim. There's Fei Dinim in Kabbalah. Which Kabbalah are you talking about? Or better yet, which Kabbalah is the Magid Mishnah talking about? Or better yet, which Kabbalah is the Brisker Rav talking about? Lefi the Magi Mishnah, Lefi the Rambam talking about Lefi Masechta Erechim. You got to follow it back. And the other way of doing it is the Ravid to say, of course there's Ger Toshav and Kabbalah today. What he's saying is you read it a different way. Lefi zeh, you can read this sentence two ways. Read it again. Lefi zeh, look inside. Lefi zeh gam hach dina. The ein ger toishev noyeg. I want you guys to be able to see how to read this sentence or these next couple sentences in two different ways. That's my challenge for tonight. Ready? Ela b'zman sheyovo noyeg. Don't think about that. That's just a copy paste. That's just the law itself. Okay? Now, gam kain le'inyan kol hadinim sheger toishev chaluk behen mishar ben noyach. What does that mean? You see the two ways of reading it. Number one, this din yovo noyach. Gam kain le'inyan kol hadinim sheger toishev chaluk behen mishar ben noyach. That's reading. Let's read the one way I said it. All dinim don't exist until yovel. Can you see that inside? Can you see that pshat? Now we'll change the pshat. I gotta get it in my head. 1 second. Lefize, going back over it again. Gam hach dina, the ein ger toishev noyeg elabas man sheyovo noyeghu. Gam kain le'inyan kul hadinim. Shagir Toishiv Chaluk Behem Yishar Benoy. It's just one din amongst many dinim. There's like a lot of dinim. And that's just one that's not noyeg until Yovel. But other dinim that are not limited to Yovel, they are today. So can you read it that way? He's saying this big, massive din of Yovel is just another Ger Toshav din. It's not the granddaddy of them all. It's just another one that it happens to be not applicable. So the Rav would say, some Kabbalah is applicable today. Some dinim are, some aren't. You can read the Ravid in your Rambam there. Can you see that pshat? Yes or no? You see it? Read it, look inside. Follow me. Follow me, yeah? Lefize. Gam hach dina de inger toshav noyeg elabas man sheyovel noyeg who? Call that one din. Just one. The other way we are reading it is it's the mother lode of all dinim. Can you see how to read it twice? You can read it as the mother lode or just one din. Keep reading. Gam kain le'inyan kol hadinim. Shagir Toishiv Chaluk Behem Yishar Ben Noyach.
I think it's like the second way.
It's machlokes. You can mamish read it both ways. Can you read it both ways?
Yeah.
You can see it?
I see the second one where it's just another one of the din.
Right. So the background information that you're missing for the first reading, Erechin says there is no Ger Toshav till Yovel. Then he's going and saying, hey everybody, there's a bunch of nafkamiyas between Ger Toshav and Ben Noach, but by the way, there's no Ger Toshav till Yovel. So all those go out, because there's no Ger Toshav till Yovel. Can you see if you can read that in there? Read inside, look, Lefize, Gam hach dina de inger Toshav noyeg, ela bezman sheyovel noyegu, Gam kain le'inyan kul hadinim shagir toishav chaluk behem yishar ben noyach. All those dinim are out. You see it?
Yeah.
So the question, you see it?
I only see that way. I don't see the other way.
Which one? The one din?
The one din.
So here, read inside. Lefize gam hach dina. That's one din. This din. Also this din. You see it?
Yeah.
Which is that din? Also, it is la'inyan. It belongs to all the other dinim. I'm putting a little bit extra word in there. All the dinim, right? La'inyan kol hadinim shagir toishav chaluk behem yishar ben noyach. It's just one amongst many, where there's a distinction of ger toshav and ben noyach. It's not special. Again, it requires background information. You're not going to derive it only from the text. In this whole paragraph, he built up the argument. What's the problem?
I mean,
It's
hard. It's just hard.
It's hard. But you might not learn it that way if... Which one are you seeing and not seeing?
I'm not seeing the second way. That's just one din, and then all other dinim are still apply except for that one din. Because
right, so you're not seeing the Ravid point of view.
It's gam haftina.
Also this din. Also this din that Ger Toshav is not noheg, rather only at the time that Yovel is noheg.
That's the only one.
So too, Gam Kain also. Being compounded onto that.
Wait. There it is. Which is the Gam Kain? Is it on all the dinim? Hold on. All the dinim? Or is it on Chaluk Behem and Shar Benoyach? You're looking at the Reisha. Look at the Seifa. Don't look at the Reisha. Gam Kain Le'inyan Kol Adinim. Don't read that. It's just another din where we differentiate between Ger Toshav and Ben Noyach.
So how does the Magi Mishnah read Gam Kain Le'inyan?
Magi Mishnah would say Lefize Gam Hach Dina. Like this din, it's like a pyramid. It's at the top. There ain't Ger Toshav Noyach Ela was Manshiv Noyahu. Without Yovel, none of the dinim work.
In the Ravid?
That's just one din. There's all these dinim. You're focusing on one din. There's a whole bunch of great dinim that apply.
So how does the Ravid learn Gam Kain Le'inyan Kol?
Gam Kain Le'inyan. It is of the inyan of all the dinim. It's like all the dinim. Some dinim apply and some don't. He's saying there's only one klal, the din of Ger Toshav. And inside that bubble, some of them are shaykh and some of them are not shaykh. Yeah.
There's no point in heart.
No, but where
I kind of see it, but
you're not going to see it in the lashon. It's like what we're doing is we're cheating. We're putting a, what do you call that? Like a arrow on the tree and you draw the target around it. Huh? We're cheating. This is cheating. Why? Because the Ravid is saying the Rambam can't possibly say like the Magi Mishnah. It's not possible. Because there is a Ger Toshav today. And want to know the proof? The Magi Mishnah will say there's no Ger Toshav today, right? Did he really say that? He said there's no Makablin today. By the Eved. There are Ger Toshav that are not Eved. So even though this is not true what I'm about to say, you can pretend it to be true. The Ravid would agree, because the Ravid has a different view about the Eved, that's why I say that. But the Ravid would agree, even if you want to restrict the Eved, which the Ravid holds there is an Eved today. That's why, right? But pretend. The Ravid says, okay, you're right. There's no Eved today. Read the very next paragraph in the Brisker Rav. Hilchos Melachim, chapter 8, 10, and 11. The Ger Toshav, Chasidei Umot HaOlam, takes Kabbalah. He is Ger Toshav. He exists. So by definition, the way that you read the Magi Mishnah is wrong. So therefore, the Ravid's view has to be right. And the Ravid's saying, I know I'm right. The Ravid's saying, since I know I'm right, I know how to read that Rambam. You don't. That's what he's saying. And the Magi Mishnah is saying, I don't disagree with you. I read it just like you. There is a Ger Toshav today. Their only machlekes really is about slaves, avadim. But no one ever brings that up. It's an inconvenient truth. Right? In the Eurodeia 267.4, right? We paskin like the Ravid. You can look it up. Remember, we did this the other day, a week ago. Yavamis 48b, Makayim the Eved, the stipulation. You know the sugya. That's the sheet of the Ravid. So for those that say, "Oh, we don't paskin like the Ravid in Ger Toshav, we paskin like the Rambam," really, that's very interesting. Because I can swear you're a day of paskins like the Ravid there, and the whole sugya is based on that. You see what I'm saying? The Evid is so integral to this sugya, and it just throws everybody off. No one, like when I first got involved in Ger Toshav, I was giving a shiur in London, and I knew what I was doing pretty much, but a guy asked me the question, can a Ger Toshav be a member, can he take part of a minyan? Now again, we can lie and about things, we can make our little fake answers, but I realized, man, I don't really know the answer to that, and I don't want to make a fake answer. So I went to the shul the next day and looked up, I don't remember how I found it, but I did find it. It's the Gemara and Brachas. That they, I think it was, I don't know if it was Tevi, you know Tevi? I'm not sure if it was Tevi or whoever it was. It may have been Rabbi Gamliel. He had his Eved Kanani, and they freed him to be the 10th man in the minyan. And everyone says, it's usher to free your slave. So I looked up the halacha. It's in the Rambam. And if you ask anybody on the street, they'll tell you it is an Isser Deraisa to free an Eved Kanani slave. Is that true? It's not true. What does the Rambam use there? Lashon Chova. You have a Chova to keep him. Chova is not the Lashon of Deraisa. So it's a Gezerah. Why do we have a Gezerah that you not free your Eved Kanani? Let me rack my brain here for a second. Because if when you free him, he's a goy gamor, and if you give him a matana, you just were over of lo tichanim, showing grace and favor to an idolater. So you can't free him ever. Possibly, but it's a halacha in the Rambam. I didn't look it up with the mitzvah. So that's why you don't release your Eved Kanani. He becomes a goy gamor in your house. And if you give him a gift, all of a sudden it's a problem. But no one ever looks at that. But the point of the story, why I'm going down this bunny trail, was because getting involved in Ger Toshav stuff, who knew that you had a master Eved Kanani? I mean, that's how far it goes. Like, if you don't know what the Eved Kanani is, I literally did not know what an Eved Kanani was, I think until about 2 years ago. I mean, on a level that I could have a conversation about the Eved Kanani. I remember in yeshiva when it would come up in the sugi, it's like you pray to God, please don't talk about the Eved Kananis. I don't know what it is. It's hard. And it's just very hard. It's like, when Tuma and Tara comes in the sugya, don't touch the hands or Tuma Shem, all that. It's very difficult. But the Eved Kanani is what makes Ger Toshav tick. That's why in the Mishnah Berurah Shulchan Aruch, where do we find the Ger Toshav Shabbos Goy Sugya? Hilchos Avadim. Anyways, it's a side point, but that's where the Rambam Ravid Machlokes is based. And we paskin like the Ravid in Avadim, because they're not slaves today. They're considered stipulated servants or workers. And then it's preferable if they take on the 7 laws. And if they don't take on the 7 laws, like we saw, they're considered like having taken on the 7 laws when they're working for you. The loophole becomes... Stop, Stu. When you have a Noahide that's not technically your worker. So now, does he get bumped up to Noahide status with Kabbalah simply because he's your friend who keeps 7 laws by himself? So I'm always trying to answer that question better, because Shabbos is a huge nafkamina, right? Just a huge nafkamina. Do they have a portion of Shabbos in any way whatsoever or not? And I told you at the beginning of today, the pasuk gave them Shabbos. All right, Gercha Shever Sharecha. You have to rest your ger. He can't do malacha for you. It's like you did malacha. But if he's a nachri, then he can. But we only assur by a shvus. So the Rebbe actually does answer this question. I'm always looking to tighten it up. The Rebbe brings the Magid Mishnah of all things, and that's what we're talking about. I'm tying this together. The Magid Mishnah will say in the Rambam. By the way, if you want to, I don't know if you want to know this Rambam or not. It's the Makor to the whole sugya according to the halacha. It's Hilchos Shabbos 2014. I don't know if you want to write that down or whatever, but you'll see the lashon in there. 304 is taken from that Rambam. That Rambam is the Makor of the Shulchan Aruch, which is ironic. Why? Because everyone says, oh, well, the Shulchan Aruch is talking about an Eved. Well, then why did the Shulchan Aruch copy and paste it from the Rambam, who was talking about it from the perspective of Hilchos Shabbos? Nothing to do with the Eved at all. The Rambam. So why did the Rambam mention the Eved? Maybe because it's called the Ten Commandments and God mentioned it? Look it up, 2014. So the Rambam talks about the Ger Toshav and the Eved. Okay. And what does the Rambam say? No Ger Toshav, Ardzman, Yoivil, no Yig. Okay, you win. But then you turn the page, or whatever it is, what version you have, and he says, but, Hoyel, the Ger Toshav, who's a Sachir, now, all of a sudden, you're commanded to rest him. So then the question becomes, what is a Sachir? And this is where the Lubavitcher Rebbe comes in very beautifully. He answers the sugya. I wouldn't even say he's like the Lubavitcher Rebbe here. It's called Rabbi Schneerson. He's a rabbi in terms of the Sikha, because he's bringing the sugya. And he's saying the Magid Mishnah, he quotes the Magid Mishnah, is always doing. The Magid Mishnah says, Lav dafka sachirhu. Meaning he doesn't have to be your worker. Remember how we answered this a couple weeks ago? As long as that non-Jew can flip the light switch on and you can't, you're called a Jew, someone who doesn't do malacha. He's called someone that does do malacha. But because he's a Ger Toshav, he's called, I do malacha, but not as much. I refrain. I don't do malacha for my rabbi, my master, my host, whatever word you want to use. So it ends up being the Magid Mishnah. So the what I find to be a tremendous chiddush, again, go full circle. The Rebbe talked or spoke in the vernacular of the sugya. That tells me he knew the sugya. We don't need to say he just mystically meditated on it, like some people say. Okay, we don't have to go there. He knew the sugya. He's quoting the same guys. Rav Kahana knew the sugya. If you're a Kahanist, my question is: was the Mishnah Berurah rabbi? Now that's a provocative question, right? What am I really saying? Did he know the sugya? And I'm not saying did he know it, like did he learn it? I'm saying when he says the words Ki Bel Zion Mitzvahs, does he mean Kabbalah? That's what I call knowing the sugya. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what the Brisker Rav is getting at. The word Kabbalah is the loaded term. Look how he opens up this next paragraph. Vehine, B'divrei Yedidi Hukshalo Kuleker Hach Milsa de Kabbalah Zomahi. He's saying the whole thing, the Kasha, is the Kabbalah. So every source you read, you're going to run into the Kabbalah problem. Every time. It's always going to say, Akum Shalo Oved Avodah Zarah, V'ki Bel Alav Zion Mitzvahs. Every single time. Always going to have, because why? It's a copy and paste every single time. No one ever rewrote it. They're taking it from Avodah Zarah 64b. And the only question that matters is, whoever you're reading, whatever great rabbi you're reading, it's like a bit trite to call it that, but I put it in those terms because you have to figure out in your own consciousness, did this sefer know the sugya? Why? Because the next step is, okay, if he did, and granted, he probably did, but the people in the world will tell you they didn't. Oh, he didn't mean Kabbalah there. Anyone that talked about the sugya meant Kabbalah. And then it becomes the question, which Kabbalah? Was it Kabbalah like an Ishmaelite around the wine? Was it Kabbalah to reject Shituf? So it's just, let me just think here. Random Yavamas, right? Random Ger Toshav Sugya. We have a Ger Toshav in the Ten Commandments contrasted with The ger toshav in Parshas Mishpatim, 23:12, right? Rest your donkey, your friend, your maidservant, and your ger, the hager. Rashi, ger toshav. Again, when you find ger toshav in Shas or Poskim, it's always going to be just kind of you happen upon it randomly. Ger toshav, right? Shekibel alav shelo avodas kochavim va'oichan avelis vazhiru akasuv al Shabbos the machal esa Shabbos ko'ivin avodas kochavim. What does Rashi mean with kibel? Now you can hear the question in context. Was Rashi a rabbi? I don't mean that literally. You hear what I'm saying? Was Rashi in the sugya? One of my biggest mashpiyas in yeshiva used to tell me, learn Rashi like a Rishon. Nobody thinks of Rashi as a Rishon. He's just Rashi. He's your friend. He gets you through the sugya. Did you learn Rashi like a Rishon? Rabbi Rashi. It's a chiddush. It's a bit of a chiddush. The Chavetz Chaim. Oh, the Chavetz Chaim was great. I love the Mishnah Berurah. I'm a frum Jew because of the Mishnah Berurah. Was he a rabbi? Meaning, did he really know the sugya? And when he says kibel, did he really mean kibel? I bet you he did. Right? Just like every other time that you find, whether it's the Torah, Beis Yosef, Rambam, the Rashba, the Ritva. Here, let's read our friend the Ritva. Ready? Go down into the paper. The line that starts with Ve'elech al Umot HaOlam ba'atzmim, period. And we'll bring in the sheet of the Ritva. Ayin b'Ritva. There's your famous Ritva. You're always going to see people bring the Ritva in the sugya. Makus daf tes. Shekasav zel l'shayna. Ger Toshav. Read out loud the next couple words. Go ahead. What does that mean? Which kibel? Is the Ritva saying it's got to be Yovel? But based in? Is that a based in Yovel? Shall Yisrael lekayim zayin mitzvahs shenitztavu b'nei noyech v'kevon shekiblan b'beis din hu nikra b'zayin mitzvahs elu mitzvah v'osei o ben noyech hu shalo kablan b'beis din ele dekayim alon shemekayim oisim ma'atzmo v'hu nidon behen kamisha eno mitzvah v'osei. What did the Ritva mean? Was he talking da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? So the Brisker Rav brought that Ritva. Guess what the Ritva was talking about? Makas Dainei, a ger Toshav who killed B'Shogeg, and not like a Ben Noyach who killed B'Shogeg. So now we see the synapses connect. What was Makus talking about? Some kind of ger Toshav who was Kibel. If I just read the Ritva, I might say Yovel. But the Brisker Rav is telling me, because he compares it to Kenoyim Pagoyimbo, who we know cannot be a Yovel ger Toshav. He is a Yishmaelite type of ger Toshav, Stam without Kabbalah. So the Ritva then is non-proper Kabbalah. It's a, huh?
There is Kabbalah outside of Beis Din.
Well, there's based in proper, then you three Jews are based in. That can happen anytime, anywhere. So that's why the Brisker Rav says the whole Inyan is Kabbalah. Every single time. It's incredible. You can just crunch the entire Ger Toshav B'nai Noach world down to this. It's a legal fiction in that it's not the Deraisa. The Deraisa is the non-Jews got to reject Avodah Zarah. Then he's kosher to do Jewish stuff. To whatever extent he wants to be Jewish. Right? If he wants to eat Korban Pesach, he's got to get a bris meal. If he wants to marry a Jewish woman, convert to Judaism. If he wants to receive Nevela, accept the 7 laws and accept Nevela, right? The level he wants to get rid of Avodah Zarah is his choice. And it has nothing to do with you, the Jew. It's his choice. Now, you have a Jewish responsibility, and you're saying, look, I would love to give you the Nevela. I would love to give you my daughter in marriage. I would love to not have to kill you in this din, whatever it is. But how do we know where you're holding and you're non-Avodah Zarah? So there's ways of knowing, and that is through Kabbalah. right? So the level of observance you're looking for that makes you feel confident that you're not doing a chilul Hashem, basically an avera, then you bring the non-Jew to make Kabbalah. Some Kabbalahs need more, some don't. Like we said, the Muslim's not going to turn your wine into Yayin Nesach. He's not serving many gods with that wine. He may kill you, but he's not looking to do Avodah Zarah with the wine. All right, let's stop there, I guess, and we're in a good position to do the Brisker Rav next time.